Hello, listeners. Welcome back to the latest episode of the Otafest podcast. I'm special guest Dio, and I'm here with your regulars, Nancy, Jay, and Angelo. Before we get started, yay!
Wow. She introduced us all for us so that we couldn't even mess up each other's names.
I know!
We don't even have a joke. The joke is dead. Thank God.
I've killed it. I've ended the joke.
Thank you.
That's what
now
special
we'll have
guests
to do a
are
new
for.
meme.
Before we get started, there are a handful of little tidbits of news and announcements. A reminder to check out the Otafest Pocket Rainbow Cardboard Gundam Cosplay Build-Along, which is going to be our first live event of the year. Yay!
Finally.
Yeah.
Yay! It's going to be in support of Calgary Pride and the Alberta Culture Days, so join us for an afternoon of fun as we fashion together giant robot cosplays out of nothing but cardboard, hot glue, duct tape, and hopes and dreams. This event is by donation, and a donation box will be available at the door, but otherwise it's free to attend. Masks and other social distancing measures will be enforced, so for additional details, please check out the Facebook page at facebook.com/Otafest, click on the event section, and hopefully we'll see you this Saturday.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Yay!
I think Dio's been the best read for that so far.
I had an
Yeah.
opportunity to
Like
practice.
I remember
Yes.
explicitly that me and Jay tripped over our tongues multiple times for that.
This is very true.
It's the streamer privilege. It gives me
She's good at read.
it gives me a bonus like
She good
10%
at read.
accuracy at reading things.
Top read.
I mean, I read chat 3 days a week, and I have to learn how to I'm gonna end up being cross-eyed because I'm looking at one monitor, which is chat, and the other monitor, which is whatever game I'm playing. I don't know how
This is
I
what
do
you should
this.
do. You should superimpose at 15% transparency the chat over your game screen.
Wait, that's actually genius.
I mean,
Cursed,
it's doable
but genius.
if you put it in a corner, but if you had it just over the whole screen.
Do
That
it over
sounds
the whole
awful.
screen.
I love it. That sounds so cursed.
But
I'm here for it.
actually, yeah, I don't know. It'd probably be a little bit more helpful than having to sort of look over all the time. But
Yeah.
I'm sure there's sort of similar solutions that people have tried.
Yeah, there probably are out there. People have probably tried something or other.
Well, the way we stream is we have the actual Twitch the dashboard running, so we see what the stream is seeing, and we have the Twitch chat right next to it, so I can more or less play the game from that view instead of the actual game window, except for when Bayfar's giant head blocks the text and I can't read it.
Pro tip, if you have the dashboard open while you're streaming, it adds 1 to your viewer count.
Huh. Okay, good to know.
Smart. Free clout. Let's go.
Free
View bot
views.
yourself.
Nice. I mean, we do. We kind of have to make sure that our green screen's not acting up because it's
Exactly.
really funny when we cast shadows accidentally on it by raising our arms or something, and all of a sudden this green screen just pops out of nowhere.
Oh my god, that's
And you're just
wonderful.
oh god, that's there. Sorry to
Yeah.
break your illusion.
Yeah, the illusion of us not being in Bayfar's bedroom, sure. As if they didn't know. As if
I mean,
anyone who had
maybe they
never seen
didn't.
our stream didn't know.
I mean, I gotta say that for the most part, of the streams that I watch, at least 60% of them seem to come from a bedroom versus any other type of room, like an office, dining
Living room.
anything kind of that. Very
Same.
often it seems like there is a bed in the corner
in the view,
of
yeah.
of the frame, yeah.
Totally. Well, we rated Dio the other night, and the first thing I said was, "Damn, check out that depth of field." And Bayfar goes, "Yeah, of course. She's running an actual DSLR." And I'm like, "Oh, that explains it."
Yes,
Looks so much better than our little webcam that we're using.
I am large brain. I used my 1 year for Christmas. Angelo got me a capture card, and I've got way more mileage using it as a camera link than I have for actually playing video games.
That's hilarious, and also
if it works,
definitely
it
very
works.
big brain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it works fantastically because it means I get this nice DSLR camera with I have a nice nifty 55mm lens on it. It ends up looking great.
Yeah,
It's perfect.
55 mil. Mwah.
I
Chef's kiss.
highly recommend.
My
then I
photographer
have
brain
my,
immediately picked it out, and I was like, "Yes, that's gorgeous."
Yes. And you see, and then I have my webcam, like my regular webcam, on a camera, like a tripod, but one that can go horizontal, so then it leans over my desk so you can see my hands and stuff when I'm doing stuff.
Oh, that's smart.
I wonder how standardized stream setups have become.
I feel like they're not standardized at all.
Yeah, I think
Like-
everyone's
Oh,
is a little
very.
different.
I feel like the more
And-
time
and-
goes by, the more
Yeah.
variability is added.
I want to clarify really quick that I do mean like gamer setups, because like I've seen ones for like all sorts of creative crafting, like I've seen carpentry and like a whole bunch of other different types of like streaming, but specifically for video gaming, like you don't think there's like a standard sort of people usually will have like 2 or 3 monitors. Will
Oh,
have like a certain
you
type
wanna
of
go
camera
at that
setup,
point,
lighting
like,
setup, and a
The
certain kind
meme
of
setup
software
is going to
setup.
be get the Blue Yeti, get the Logitech 920. Don't use mechanical keyboards because they sound too loud.
no, that's
no.
you're wrong.
Use mechanical keyboards specifically because they'll drown out
Yes.
everything else.
Yes.
That would be the stereotypical gamer stream setup.
Oh no,
I
mean-
I can get real specific with this. The specific gamer setup is you have
Oh, Stream Deck.
yeah, you have a Stream Deck, but you have
Yeah.
you specifically, if you aren't using a DSLR, you are using the Logitech C920 HD. That's the specific
Yeah.
webcam you're using. You have it mounted on a monitor at a 3/4 angle. You have at least 2 monitors. One of them is 144 hertz, and it's probably the BenQ one or the Zowie one. You have a standard generic full size mechanical keyboard. You have a Logitech
Right.
G Pro, and you have 2 lights.
Wow.
Right.
That was like a mental checklist that I just went through, and I'm like, yep. Not sure about that one, but yep.
Yep, every
LED
gamer. It just
LED
comes down to
strip
that.
somewhere in the background.
Yep.
Now, LED
Uh,
strips with tissue paper over it.
Oh,
Mm.
yes, the DQs.
Yeah.
Hundreds of cans of empty Coke cans strewn about your desk and on your floor.
Okay, not
Listen,
that.
I didn't need the call
Uh,
out, okay?
Pot of moldy mac and cheese sitting in the corner of the
No,
room.
that brought
Oof.
back like such a terrible memory of
PC
watching that
isn't even in a case; it's
stream.
just sitting as a pile of parts on the floor.
Yes.
Oh boy.
I'm not talking about Dio at all for this. I'm talking about XQC. but-
Yeah. That brought back some terrible memories of when XQC people would be like, "XQC, what's your setup?" And he would take his
the
webcam
moldy
off.
pot in the corner
And
of the room is actually content that's just brewing.
It's horrible. His room
Yeah, it's long term. It's long term.
was just so special because like his backdrop of his room, all you can see from his camera is like his bed, but what it is it's just a mattress on the floor, but he uses it to dampen noise by flipping it up against the wall. So it's just like a mattress with a sheet on it flipped up against the wall, the Christmas tree that he hasn't taken down for like 2 years, and then you just see like the
That's
blank
amazing.
carpet, and it looks like his room is super empty. But then he takes he moves his webcam, and you see that there's a pile of Coke cans on his desk, there's a pile of overflowing Coke
Oh.
cans and takeout containers on the floor, and then underneath his desk is just like there's no case, there's just like a motherboard, and it's sitting on top of a graphics card, and there's a power supply
Oh.
That's
underneath it.
literally the streamer equivalent of your parents tell you to clean your room, so you shove that shit in your closet and under your bed and be like, "That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Alright,
it. The room is
I'm
clean."
done.
Yep,
It's done,
exactly.
it's
If chat
clean.
doesn't see it, it's clean.
presentable. Yo,
Yeah.
well, that's like, I mean, not to call us out, but I mean, that's essentially any sort of production in general. Like,
Yeah.
anytime you do a production of any kind, I don't care if it's streaming or live event or anything like
A
that,
musical,
and some shit goes
any kind
yeah,
of
some
theater
shit goes wrong
production.
in the background, right? Like something's
Oh,
gonna go
yeah.
wrong in the background, whether you're missing a resource or somebody who should be doing something isn't doing something, or someone's just literally not there. But if the audience doesn't know,
Then
like
everything's fine.
everything went fine. That's
Yep,
all. That's all
everything-
that
If
matters.
Wait,
the audience doesn't know that the streamer is sleeping on a foam pad under his desk, everything
Yep.
is okay.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That is a specific
So-
call out to a very specific person.
Oh, it's not me.
No, it's not. It's none of us here. And I don't think he listens
But
to
it
the
is
podcast.
a specific person.
But if he did, he'd know it's
Big
about
rude.
him.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Speaking of weird mold, I think Dio was in the middle of telling me about a really bad mold story.
Yes. So we live in
Well,
a
every mold story is a
every
bad mold
bad
story.
yeah. We live in
Well, not
Unless
if it's a cheese story.
we live
Yeah,
in
see,
a
unless it's cheese.
yeah, moldy cheese is okay. It's okay.
Some
Not my
people don't like
favorite.
that shit.
The worst case
Yeah.
scenario with moldy cheese is you cut the moldy bit off.
No, we mean like blue cheese, honey.
I know,
Yeah,
but still, the worst case scenario when it comes to moldy cheese is you cut the moldy cheese off and the rest of it is great.
Yeah, I don't think cutting the moldy piece out is gonna help in our housing
No.
scenario.
I mean, that's exactly what they have to do.
That's what they have to do, but they have to do a lot more than just that. They have to prevent the mold from coming back. Which is so for those who don't know, Angela and I live in a rental house. We rent the top 2 floors of a house, and then there's a separate unit in the basement that we don't rent. And we noticed a couple weeks ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago, that there was water dripping out of the ceiling where the kitchen is. And we were like, what the heck is that? That's weird. It must be a leak. So right above that is our bathroom, our upstairs bathroom. So we decided, well, we have 2 bathrooms. We won't use the upstairs bathroom just to see if the water's coming from there. The water did not appear to directly be coming from there because we didn't use any of the amenities upstairs for a week, and there was still water dripping.
If anything, it got worse.
Yeah, it actually got worse. So it was like us using the
It went
amenities
from
is not
paint
what's causing
bubbling
this.
to water actively dripping through the drywall.
Yeah. So we called our landlord. Landlord had a plumber come take a look at it. Plumber carved a small hole into the ceiling to take a look. Did some caulking in the upstairs bathroom. Said give the landlord a call if it continues. Well, it did continue, and it got worse. And the landlord came and took a look at it, and it's going to turn into an insurance claim. But basically, it's gotten so bad. So the way that our house is laid out, there's the kitchen, and there's a back door, like in that kitchen area that goes outside. That door is so swollen with water, like the door frame is so swollen with water, it's very hard to open, like, unless I, like, am full force pulling it, I can't get it open or closed.
It'd be great if you could just kick the door open, but it's a French door, so, like, your foot would go through many panes of glass.
Yeah, like, it's impossible, so we just have been using the deck door. Thankfully, there's, like, a sliding deck door. We've been using that instead. But it's also not only dripping onto that wall, it's dripping down the opposite wall, which actually caused, the way this all started was we noticed a painting fell off. And it was very weird that a painting came off the wall, and it was because it was wet, and the water had caused it to slide off the little hook that it was on. Like, it loosened, it's the drywall, so the hook came out. Yeah, the pin came out. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Woof.
But so that whole wall is like swollen with water. But to make it worse, there's a light switch on that wall, right? That controls like the kitchen light and the dining room
has
light.
electricity in it.
Yeah, has electricity, no big deal.
And so a couple days ago, there was some brown liquid that was dripping out from where that light socket was.
Yeah,
that just
like
made it sound extra gross. There was brown
pudding.
liquid just coming out, like oozing out of, and I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, like just
Hell yeah.
It looked like just like burnt molasses
Ew.
coming out of the light socket. And I'm just like, this is not good. Like, this is like bad. And
Did
to make
you double
matters,
check that we aren't in a Silent Hill game?
I mean, so far there's
the
no
walls
fog.
bleeding.
But there is a global pandemic.
The walls aren't bleeding, they're pooping.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah,
it's just
I don't
so
know.
extra gross when you say it like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
go on.
So
The
bad.
walls of IBS.
And to make matters worse, so we have to wait for the insurance company or wherever to send the people who are going to do the thing where they're going to take apart our kitchen roof, and we're not going to be able to use our kitchen for probably 2 weeks, if not more, while they figure out whatever is causing that leak and clean up all the stuff. The hole where, like, the original plumber cut to see if he could find the leak stinks. Like, it smells mildewy and wet because there's still water coming out.
Which means they're probably going to have to replace all of the drywall that has gotten wet. And they're not going to be able to find it all until they rip it all out.
We do. And none of our
you
stuff
guys
has gotten destroyed so far, so, like, we're not.
No, but I mean, like, things like, so are you able to file for something like, because, for example, you can't use your kitchen, but you want to make food, I presume, and not just eat out for 2 weeks, or for weeks. For
That
God
would be
knows how
ideal.
long, right? So I don't know if there's any sort of coverage for something like that, because that doesn't really sound like an ideal situation for anybody where
can't
It
eat.
just
Yeah, I
doesn't
don't
make a lot
know.
of sense. Yeah.
We're gonna have to
Yeah, that
do some
sucks.
digging
You're gonna have
to
to look
find
into
out what
that.
our options are. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, our kitchen smells mildewy, and there's a little
Gross.
mold spot growing
Oof.
in one part of the
No.
ceiling
Ew.
drywall. So it's just like fun.
Ew.
This is
Ew.
real yummy.
Ew, no.
Real
no.
yummy in here.
Mm-mm.
2020
no.
do be testing us in strange ways.
Actually, yeah,
Wow.
2020 has been testing us in very strange ways because one of my
Strange
favorite
ways or
actors just
bad
passed
ways?
away.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of people's like a very well recognized actor, Chadwick Boseman. Well, I'm sure it's by this point very aware, like our community would be very aware of who he is. The lead actor, T'Challa of Black Panther,
Yes.
Jackie Robinson in 42, which kind of are very like iconic roles, especially for a man of color to take and portray as well as he did. Um, and the guy passed away from, I believe, colon cancer, stage 4 colon
Correct.
cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and he was working
While
the whole
going through
time.
treatment, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Essentially.
Yeah.
He was diagnosed in 2016 with stage 3 colon cancer and it progressed to stage 4. So that means he's been filming and working and hiding it and sort of just being that kind of crazy epitome of strength, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
The-
he represents a lot
The one
to
thing that I
the
think
community, right?
is like really good or like makes me happy is that because no one knew that he was ill, he passed away like in the announcement post from his family and from his estate. They talk about how he passed away peacefully and he was with his family and
Right.
they had time to make a statement about what was going on in a way that they felt
Yeah.
comfortable. And I like that is the way, like, he got to go out with his friends and his family and the people he loved
Right.
about, and he didn't
On
have
his
to
own
worry
terms,
on his
right.
own terms, and he didn't have to worry about
Right.
that being a thing that's, being leaked to the tabloids against his consent or against his family's consent.
Yeah, to the
And-
general
and
public,
I-
it came out of nowhere, and that's
Right? And I you got to give props to also just his friends and family. I don't mean
Yeah.
anything in a bad way, like they were gonna try to, publicize it in a way.
Yeah,
but
the
like,
people who loved him
it's
respected
grief,
his wishes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's potential. There's a real potential for grief there, and just sort of the stress. And I'm just sort of surprised that even then it didn't come out just offhandedly as a remark from somebody.
Yeah,
Like
it
someone
was
saying
very
like, oh, like the thing he's
respectful
going
and
through or
loving.
something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So that's really quite meaningful and quite amazing, I think.
Yeah, he got to,
Yeah.
like, it's painful, and it's going to be painful for a lot of people everywhere, because
Mhm.
he was just such as Jay was saying, he was such a rock for so many communities.
He was an
For-
inspiring actor.
Like, he was a great actor. He did so much for the communities he cared about.
He was a good person.
Yeah, he was just a good
Just
person.
weird.
Like, I think
No, he
someone had
was.
posted how, there are photos of him from as recent as earlier, like at the end of last year, of him visiting patients in hospital as Black Panther for kids. And it's like,
Mhm.
you are sick with cancer and suffering, and you're still taking the time out of your life to try and make a kid smile and a kid have a better time while they're going through a hard experience. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah. No, he who really was.
Like, and I don't want to get political about this, but it's just such a impactful thing
Statement.
that it happened sort of at this time, with what his characters have, like, that he's played, have represented, who he is as a person and how he represented himself, and sort of the global movements that we have seen that are involve what his portrayals, have all been intertwined, and the fact that you lose some kind of that representation, that leadership,
It's definitely
especially
going to be
this
hard.
year. It's just
Yeah.
insane.
It's
Yeah.
going to be hard. I think people everywhere are grieving. I think especially for people who are like a part of the Black Lives Matter movement or feel very represented by the struggle, the Black struggle that was represented in Black Panther. It just it feels like a very personal blow, and it's gonna be tough. Especially, I think just in general, 2020 has been a testing year for many people in many ways. This is going to be... The people who've persevered through this year, like, y'all need to be proud of yourself, because...
Yeah. And I want to, as a positive, and I don't mean this in like a shallow way, because I've seen and heard it mentioned before by like actors and actresses across like any film production especially, but when you have a role that requires you to sort of be aesthetically like powerful, like they work out a lot, they've got to bulk up, get that really nice physique and stuff, and because they're like, I don't know how many opportunities I'm gonna get to get these kind of roles in the future, and I'm kind of immortalizing myself on film. So it's kind of nice that honestly he has like Chadwick has a superhero role where he literally looks like the epitome of
strength and action,
strength and power and action and resilience and all those like wonderful qualities. Like the dude looked fan-fucking-tastic in the Marvel films, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah, he did.
Put in the work. And again, he was filming and taking treatment. And I don't know if you know anything about cancer treatment.
It's not
easy. It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
It literally eats away at you. You lose body mass.
You lose weight, and not just that you lose fat, like you lose muscle.
Yeah.
You lose
exactly
everything.
So it's sort of like to see him again sort of immortalized in these amazing portrayals is just...
It's a good way to be remembered,
yeah,
I think.
Absolutely. It's a lot better than most of us will ever get, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I feel that.
Right?
Oof.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's a little tough and it's pretty heavy, and I can't even say that I'm specifically so affected, but I can see how much, and it's like you can't help but feel for that, right?
Yeah. You can't help it. Like it's just
you should
sad.
You should feel.
It's just sad, and
that's what it comes
grieving is normal. Grieving is healthy.
Right.
Grieving is good. It's a good human process to go through, and not one you should deny yourself. Yep.
Anyway,
on to more lighthearted topics.
Yes. Oh, something that we're doing in the next little bit. Unfortunately, Nancy won't be able to join us because of the sun.
Because I will literally burst into flame.
Yeah.
Vampire.
Nancy's a vampire.
Shh! Don't tell the audience.
I've been trying to get us. I've been trying to get people together and sort of enjoy more normal summer things because we haven't really had normal summer things.
Indeed.
With some friends, I've gone out to a couple of small restaurants, not at peak times and stuff, but just to try to have a meal together and chill. And something that I know Dio and Angelo just bought a raft, and they've already gone rafting a little bit, and we've arranged for another one on an upcoming weekend here.
Rafting!
So hopefully that
so
works
excited.
out. I'm super looking forward to it.
I love rafting. It's
We're
like
going
the
to
one
get
fun
buoyant.
thing that you can do over the summer in Calgary. It's amazing. It's my favorite.
Wait,
Yeah.
Angelo, did you just say you're getting fat?
No, we're gonna get buoyant.
Whoa, rude.
Isn't that basic? Okay.
Rude. All I said is that our density will be less than that of the water we're displacing.
Indeed, yes. Yes, sure.
Due to things like surface area.
What do you guys like to do when you're on the raft, other than obviously, like, having good conversation?
Fucking sit.
Music.
So somebody brings a speaker?
Yeah, a portable speaker is great. I love taking pictures. That's really fun.
Basking, just like taking in some of the sun.
Yes.
Although it's already getting cooler, unfortunately, but just taking in some sun would be nice.
I am so notorious. Every time I go rafting, I get at least like a 30-minute nap in. Guaranteed.
Oh yeah.
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 Well, rafting's a solid like 2 hours at least, right? Sometimes up to 3. There's no reason why you can't.
You can't have a nap.
Some snoozles.
Yeah.
You gotta get some snoozles.
Especially like you're out in the sun and like the way, like the gentle like waves is not
Yeah.
quite the right word, but like the flow of the river is gently kind of rocking you back and forth. It's nice.
Oh, absolutely.
I always get a nice nap in. I did last weekend, and it was really good.
Yeah, how was your new raft, by the way?
It
Pretty
is
good?
awesome. I love it. It was a great purchase.
Is it a Costco one?
No, it is one from Canadian Tire. Came in the
Wow.
clutch. So my dad really wanted to try rafting. He's never been, and I was like, okay.
Oh.
So we bought 2 3-man boats. We put my brother and my dad in one, and me and Angelo in the other. We bought both of them at Canadian Tire, and you could definitely comfortably fit 3 people. But with 2 people in a 3-man boat, it was luxurious.
Yeah, it was really
Right.
good.
It was super comfy. Me and Angela had plenty of room to like stretch our legs and just be relaxing. It came with 2 cushions for your bum, and it also had an attached bag, like a water bag, attached to the boat for you to put your stuff in.
Yeah.
Like your cooler.
What? Wow, this sounds
Yeah.
really like super nice.
And it came with the oars.
Yeah, it came with those paddles that are just
Well,
like
it usually
aluminum tubes with
It
like
usually
the
comes with
plastic.
those
But they
those
had like
screw-togethers, right?
screw together ones, but it was
They
nice.
work well enough.
It had
I'd
a
like
nice
to
little
get some wooden oars.
It had a nice little attachment post for them and everything. Like I was like, this is just everything you need in a box to go and
As
enjoy
someone
a day
who's
on the
never
river.
been rafting, yeah, as someone who's never been rafting, this all sounds like really interesting. This is not something that I've ever had to think about.
It's so
You really
fun.
should. I wish you could join us. I don't know how bad it is for you and stuff, but
I
like,
burn through regular windows. I burn through car windows.
yeah, but
You
I mean, windows
burn.
are transparent.
Put on some
You're supposed
SPF
to.
90.
True.
I wear a really high sunscreen every day, and I don't even leave the house anymore.
Burns. Feels bad.
Mhm.
Someday, maybe we'll just like,
Wear a hat and a poncho.
yeah.
I
was
I
also
feel
gonna say,
like
like,
bring a
bring a-
parasol on a raft is a really bad idea.
No.
It
I
is a
like
bad
it like a
idea.
proper cowboy
No, it's a bad
hat,
idea.
something wide brimmed, and then just like a proper poncho, like a nice kind of a wool poncho that will reflect the sun but keep it off of you.
Yeah.
I don't know about a wool poncho.
Yeah, I was
but you
gonna
could
say more
just
like
wear-
a raincoat type
No,
of
like
thing.
rain- Raincoats
just,
don't
no,
breathe.
not a raincoat. They have, but like in the same thing, like a plastic poncho, disposable one, but opaque instead of clear.
Yeah. But yeah, it's super fun. I also like I didn't do it any last weekend, but I also like to swim when we
Oh.
are rafting. Like I like to get out of the raft and swim in the river.
I'm
just
too
jump
lazy
off
for
the
that.
boat.
Like it's not that I absolutely won't, but I get too lazy.
I like it just
I stay in
because
boat.
I have a really high intolerance for chlorine, so I can't swim in like public pools most of the time unless I go to a
Oh,
saltwater
fair enough.
pool.
So it's like a
So the
Same.
river is like one of the rare times that I can like go swimming and I don't have to worry.
Fair
And
enough.
if the time of year is right, like the water isn't abominably
high
cold,
enough.
so you can
Mhm.
just
Oh, yeah.
jump in and swim and enjoy, and then when you're done, you just hop back in the boat and dry off.
Right. No, that makes sense. But yeah, I'm super looking forward to our little trip down the river.
Yeah, it's gonna be so
I know a
good.
lot of folks have like made some trips out to like Kelowna, and
And things
that
like that.
sounds really
Yeah.
fun. But I
So
don't
do you
think I
guys bring
can
snacks?
make time for
Yes. Yeah, we bring.
Because I know we're not
snacks.
allowed to drink like alcohol.
Yeah,
on
Indeed.
rafts.
So we bring tea.
What kind
Illegal.
of snacks are like the best ones for a raft? Because I imagine there's going to be a little bit of concern about stuff getting wet.
Last weekend we brought some Arizona iced tea just in a can, and
Oh, yeah.
we actually used our shoes that we left in the raft as a cup holder. That was really good. But
Honestly,
beyond
you
that,
can-
we didn't really have much idea
Yeah.
for snacks. Like we brought some bananas that we actually didn't even end up eating, but
And we had some chocolate candies. Like usually you bring like road
a
trip.
Ziploc.
Yeah, you bring like a Ziploc
Yeah.
and you bring like road trip food.
But having that said, what kind of snacks do you think would be best that like wouldn't get wet? Like a sandwich is obviously not good because a good sandwich will fall apart. The bread will get soggy if it gets splashed.
good
I don't
steak.
think a sandwich is good
Steak
for
dinner. with
We
mashed
actually went out
potatoes.
for a steak dinner after we got done rafting.
Yeah, it was really good.
Where'd you go?
Yeah.
We went to a tiny little like
A tiny
small
little place
restaurant
called
called
The Place.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know that one.
That
In
is
Bonus.
in bonus area, yeah.
That's gonna be really confusing. Hey, where'd you guys go for dinner? The place.
Yep. We went to the place.
That was
Very
actually
cool.
my
Oh, that
first
one, okay.
sit-down restaurant experience.
In a long time.
I think this year almost.
I don't think I've been to a sit-down restaurant since the last time would have been we did a team builder at my old job, and that was like sometime in
Right.
February or January.
I went to a sit down about about 3 weeks ago with Becca.
Nice.
We went to Kensington, Kim's Katsu.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a really
Yummy.
nice
I
little
haven't been there yet.
Me neither.
It's such a small place. I would absolutely recommend that you
Order.
if you go, you should
Takeout?
you should do a rezo.
Okay,
Do a
yeah.
rezo.
Okay.
Like the seating is far enough apart that there's no problem of like crowding or anything.
It's just that it's
just
busy,
that
it's popular.
tiny.
Yeah.
And it's
So
fairly
how many
popular because
tables
it's in
are
the
there,
middle.
Jay?
Like 8.
Oh wow. So
Okay.
yeah.
Holy moly.
Just a handful of people.
So it fits essentially maybe 20 people.
Hmm.
It's tiny as hell, but the food is pretty good and like reasonable. Everything like it's tasty, it's fresh.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
they do goo.
Yeah, I really want to go back to Jinya. I haven't been back to Jinya Ramen yet this
Me
year.
neither.
Oh yeah, I went to Jinya with Bayfar like probably a month and a half ago.
I want to go back. We since we haven't been able to go to You and Me. Angela ordered You and Me for us
Oh.
last night as we had
what'd
for
you guys
dinner.
get?
We ordered
got a
every
hell of a lot
kind
of
of
barbecue pork
bao,
bun.
lots of
Ooh,
bao,
bao. My
many
favorite.
bao.
And we got some egg buns. It was actually my mom's first time having one of those, and she thought it was fantastic.
They're so good.
Mm. I think the last restaurant I sat down at before everything shut down was Nupo's grand opening, and then right after that it was like, nope, everyone's staying in. It's like, okay,
No more restauranting. I think the last place I went to before restaurants closed or like before stuff shut down would have been, I think I went to Seoul Karaoke Bar. But I went there to eat because I used to work near there. So I would go and they had a lunch special.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go get their at the time. I don't know if they still do. I hope they still do. But
I hope they survive.
they
hope
stopped
they do
being
too.
they stopped being an evening bar and they started opening just before lunch. They would open at 11 every day, and they had
Right.
bibimbap on special for lunch.
And that makes sense.
every
They're in
day.
the heart of downtown.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's like
does
why
make
not open
sense.
for lunch?
Exactly.
Even if they close in between lunch and dinner.
Yeah,
essentially.
exactly. And I
Right.
that's what they would do. And it was great.
Did they still have the giant carafes of soju during lunch hour?
Yes, they do. You can order them.
Oh my god.
I have
that's
never
dangerous.
I have never ordered them because I'm like, how do I explain this to my coworkers that it's not juice?
Oh yeah.
But
Even if it tastes like juice, it is not.
it's not juice.
No.
Speaking of like Korean food as well, I haven't gone there. They don't do. They're even smaller of a place, but they're in Chinatown. It's a Korean place called So Yummy, and
Ooh, I've been meaning to go
make,
there.
they have like sort of like bibimbap or like bulgogi lunch set meals, which are really good and like a really good price and everything. But they also do kimbap, which is like the sort of Korean sushi roll snack.
Those are so
Mhm.
good.
And they're so good. And I usually get them, I'll order them for like skip to my work office because they're just something I can pick at, but they're also super filling and tasty.
Yeah. I was about to say the only thing I've done is I haven't physically been to every single one, but I've hit over the course of quarantine, I've hit every single bubble tea franchise in the city.
Damn.
At
yeah.
least once.
Damn. Have you found any new favorites?
I really like Per Tea, which is up in the Southwest, and I love like Don't Yell at Me just opened, and I
that's the one
love
right by
that
my place.
They're like
Don't
one
Yell
door
at Me
down
just
from
sounds-
Presso Tea.
So funny. I need to go try
Presso-
them just on the name alone.
Honestly, both Don't Yell at Me and Presso Tea are pretty fucking good.
They're
and
really
I'm
good.
blessed because they
You're
are
right next to each other.
what? They're like 25 meters away in a straight line.
Oh
Yep.
my goodness.
I hope
I
in the
wonder if they have
75
like a
feet away,
fierce
there's enough
competition
market
between
for them
them.
to both exist.
Nah.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting because like Presso Tea is more of your like traditional like standard tea with boba, right? Like it's like
Yeah, and they're really good for like fresh.
yeah, it's like we're gonna
fresh
give you
fruit
fresh
stuff.
fruit slush, fresh fruit tea, and really nice
Yeah.
boba. And then Don't Yell at Me is like your fancy like tea lattes, coffee lattes, like your.
But they're also not expensive. At
It's not
all.
expensive.
They're actually
Really?
very
Yeah.
reasonable prices.
Yeah, it's very similar pricing to
Mhm.
Presso. It's just that you're not really gonna like if you go to Don't Yell at Me, you're not gonna get like fruit tea, but you are gonna get like really high quality
Yes.
black tea, green tea,
Yes.
white tea with like
Yeah.
the brown sugar pearls, like the whole shebang.
Whereas-
But if you go to Presso
Yeah,
tea, you're not really gonna get tea lattes, but you are gonna get like
No.
peach white tea and like your
Oh.
Get like,
passion
yeah,
fruit.
you get like floral and fruit stuff
Yeah.
at Presso Tea, and they're really nice, like super cleansing feeling, very refreshing.
Yes.
And then when you want, like,
but it's great to have both, like basically 5 feet away from each other.
Yeah,
and then I
is.
usually go get a Viet sub nearby as well, and then I just
and
book
you're
it on
just
home.
you're good to go. Yeah. My
Yeah.
favorite thing from
Super
Presso is they have I think they have like a peach green tea that you can get or like a peach oolong.
Yes.
Yes.
I love that with the white pearls, the jasmine pearls. So good. And then from
Mm.
Don't Yell at Me, they have a tiramisu tea.
Oh.
What?
It is
Oh god.
amazing.
I
Angelo,
got it with
Yeah.
coffee jelly, and it was
it's
the best.
amazing. Angelo got it with coffee
What?
jelly, and it was just mwah, chef's kiss, beautiful.
Are they on DoorDash?
Yes,
I'm
they
looking,
are
like,
on
right
DoorDash.
now.
They are.
Oh my goodness! I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
You're so welcome.
Do it today.
Cancel all
Why
my lunch
do
plans. I don't
tomorrow?
need these.
What you could do today.
And it's also really cute. One thing that I really love about like all these little bubble tea franchises and stuff is some of them will have like cafe food, but the cafe food isn't like generic like bulk ordered cafe food. It's bought from like local bakeries and stuff here in the city, which is really cool.
Mm.
Cause like we went to Don't Yell at Me in person the other night after a gaming session. And I realized that they have crepe cakes there, but they also had macarons, and the macarons were from Olia, which is like just down the street on 17th, and I
Yep.
love
Yeah,
Olia.
that's in Mission. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh.
No, it's not in Mission. Olia,
Oh wait, no, that's a different one that
Olia
I'm thinking
is
of.
on technically it's on 16th and
yes, it's on 16th,
7th.
16th and 7th. Yeah, right where that like giant bridal shop is.
Yes.
I'm aware of all the places because
You are.
it is
No, I was
literally my
thinking of a
neighborhood.
different one.
Yes, there is another bakery in Mission that I know that you're thinking of that I want to go visit
Yes.
at some point. I think one of the other bubble tea places here in the Southwest gets their crepe cakes from that bakery.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, time for a lady date.
Yep. And I just think, I don't know, it makes me really happy to see like all these little businesses and franchises in the city like working together and collaborating with each other and stuff like that. Like that to me is
Mhm.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That stuff is exciting.
I've been trying to. Okay, so, and I know Dio's aware of this particular subreddit. Am I the asshole?
Oh, my
I'm very familiar
favorite.
with
My
And I want to bring this up real
favorite.
quick because it's like related to sort of like food and quarantine food in a manner of speaking. So here's the thing: I'm always willing to tip a restaurant.
Okay.
I don't have too many problems tipping restaurants, servers, blah blah blah. Like it's not an issue. Tipping in general is not an issue. Like I'm definitely cool with the idea of tipping, and it's not a financial problem. I don't like tipping delivery drivers.
Oh, I think
For like
okay.
skip orders, doesn't matter, or whatever delivery it is, whatever delivery service, Uber Eats, Skip, DoorDash, whatever.
Okay.
I just don't like tipping them. I tip maybe like I'll usually tip the 10%, which is like the
the
sort of, like,
minimum or
lowest
whatever the
default
thing that it
option.
offers you, which I think
Right.
is fine. I think okay, so mean answer, I think you should tip them, and the only reason is because unfortunately
I've made skip drivers drive when there's 2 inches of snow on the road.
Yeah, but that's different. I think Jay means like
Under normal
typical,
circumstances.
Under normal circumstances. And I think you still
Yes.
should tip them under normal circumstances because unfortunately we live in tipping culture, which is where the reason that you have to tip people, like the reason you have to tip
It's because they're
you're-
not making
they're not
enough
making
money
enough money
from the company, right?
company. And it's the same thing
Yeah.
as like, why do you tip your waitress? The waitress isn't
Yeah.
entitled to minimum wage, and similarly, the driver isn't entitled to minimum wage. So for the convenience of having my order, I tip them. I'll usually tip them like the recommended amount, like or like the minimum sometimes. Like if I know that,
Right.
that like it's not a huge deal, like, and the minimum is still something decent, like it's a small order, and there's no real negligible difference, I'll tip the smallest one. But I usually tip the recommended. If it's like a really bad like driving day, like the weather is terrible, then I'll tip the maximum amount because it's like, okay, you went through
Right.
hell and a half to get this to me. But in general, I always tip because I know those people aren't getting paid a proper living wage. So if I don't tip them, they're maybe just going even doing my delivery.
Right. But here's the thing. Here's the reason why I don't tip very well to delivery drivers. Is because I'm going to make the assumption that for the most part, they're not super new at it. Like they sort of know what they're doing, more or less where they're going. But it's things like I typically don't get great customer service from a delivery driver. I'm not asking for like the world here, by the way. I'm just asking for like usually a hello and here's your food, and if you're like late, maybe a sorry or a give me a quick reason for why they're late.
Like a phone call or something.
Or text message, or even just when you arrive at the door with the food, just being like,
Hey, there's traffic.
something got screwed up. Like at least tell me something, right?
Yeah.
I've actually had really
Alternatively,
good
another thing that I
experiences
hate
with
is
delivery
that
drivers.
they do have problems just sort of like you can see them on the live delivery tracker of where they're sort of coming in from, and like sometimes they end up spending like 20 minutes between bringing your food. Like they have the food and then they're driving and then they stop driving
And the food is cold.
and then you're like, what's happening?
and you just
Yeah,
don't
Because
know.
I've
now
seen
I
that
have
happen.
Nah, that's true.
I'm just saying that it's not that I will not tip delivery drivers. I just don't think that the general sort of
I think you don't
culture
like the idea that you have
customer
to
service.
tip before you receive the service.
So I want to talk about
Yes,
that.
That's also
that's
a
And
thing.
this is a counterpoint to everything Jay's saying. This isn't a tip. It's a bribe.
For
You
you
are
to
not tipping
Right.
people
Give me
on
good
good
service.
Except
performance.
there's no
You're
there's
telling
no
them,
incentive to
this
bribe
is the
someone
money.
either.
I want you to get mine over the other order that came up. I want you to get my order, not the other 5 orders that are showing up right now. I want mine to show up there. This is the bribe money for you to take my order. That's
also,
really what's
I'd
going
like for
on.
That
you
would
to
be
not trample all
true.
over my lawn when you do it too.
That would be true if it wasn't for the fact that most of the times I order at like late times, let's say, and
Even more so, it's a bribe. If someone's not
because
actively
they're
out delivering,
because
then it'll get them
they
off
can
their
be
butt
in
to
and out
deliver.
of service at any time they want to be.
right.
So therefore,
but as a result,
they are already taking it on. There are very few other orders at the time of day at which I am ordering. I can pretty much assure you.
I think that actually benefits Angela's argument because I will say that your assumption is only half right, which is that most of them aren't actually professional drivers. Like they don't. If you sign up to deliver for DoorDash, Uber Eats, Skip the Dishes, whatever, you don't like get any formal training. The companies themselves don't insure your vehicles. Like it's your own private vehicle.
They're like,
your own
they're
private
like, don't
insurance.
steal the money and don't steal the food.
Yeah, pretty much. And so the company doesn't really like owe you much. So as a result, you don't have like the good news is you don't have set working hours. The bad news is if you're not willing to potentially be available 12 hours a day to do deliveries, you might not make enough money to make a profit based on how much driving you did and how much vehicle maintenance and gas and all those other things are going to cost you over the lifetime of doing Skip the Dishes or doing door delivery even part-time. And that's the other thing is a lot of people do it from I actually had a really interesting conversation with a guy who was not a Skip driver, or he did both Skip driving and Uber driving. He did both. And he told me that he does both part-time, so he works a regular 40-hour-a-week job, and then on the weekends he does skip the dishes, and he does both Uber driving and skip the dishes at the same time on the weekend.
Sense.
And that's how he makes extra income. And I was like, oh, that's really like interesting. But yeah, they don't really get a great wage, and like it sucks because I don't think the problem is the drivers providing service or the people ordering something wanting like to not have to pay a bunch of extra money for something to be delivered to them. I don't think the issue is there. I think the issue is like the culture of tipping. I just think is a bad thing. I think it's
absolutely.
I just think it's bad.
I absolutely agree with that statement.
From a fundamental purpose that if someone is doing a delivery, like that's a job.
If someone is doing a work,
if that someone is doing
period.
work, that work deserves to be compensated in a fair way. And to me,
fair way.
If you
by the employer,
like it shouldn't be that
to be. Yeah, let us clarify that, like
that shouldn't
just
be,
to be very specific.
That shouldn't be a burden on the consumer directly. That shouldn't directly be a burden on the consumer. That shouldn't directly be a burden on the restaurant. That should be, if Skip the Dishes wants to be the delivery service and the intermediary between the customer and the restaurant, they need to be responsible for those costs. And then they need to figure out how, if it's going to cost me this much extra money to pay my drivers a proper wage, how do I market that as a restaurant and say, hey, it's going to cost you this much money to use me as a delivery service. Here's why it's worth it for you to spend that money.
How many other industries do I, as the consumer, have to think about how much the employees make? Like, if I go to Walmart, I know the employees are making
generally
minimum
speaking,
wage.
you never have to think about how much the.
But I don't have to think about it. But if I'm going to like a restaurant, if I'm getting takeout, like if I'm getting a delivery, then I have to start thinking about, well, how much does the employee make? That's kind of bullshit.
I feel like it's only the service industry specifically, actually.
It is.
Well, it's
the
like
service
you don't
industry.
tip Pure Later guys; they're doing the exact same job.
That's true.
You don't tip Canada Post.
But here's the thing.
You don't like leave extra stamps in your mailbox.
From a financial standpoint, I have two things to say about that. Having visited countries where tipping isn't a thing, and also taxes are just integrated into the price that you see.
Oh yeah,
super useful. I don't care. Like even
it's
for
way
Alberta,
better.
where it's like you only have to calculate for 5%. It's just even better to not have to calculate for 5% and see that X item is $2, X item is $10.50.
X item is however much money.
I've heard
that's how much money.
I think that we're insane.
I don't care that the item is
$10
if I have to pay the 50 cents anyways, right? Like
like
that's fair.
It bothers me too. It's like I just like I am in the same boat as Angelo. I don't really like going to restaurants and things like that because I don't like knowing that, like, hey, this person who is doing a job doesn't get a wage or a salary the same way I do.
Right.
Because for some reason their work isn't considered valuable enough to be worthy of that by society, which is weird.
Well, no, not by society, by the expectations that corporations have set.
Yes. That's a better way to say it. Yes, by the expectations.
Because the truth is that most of our society, at least Canadian society, I would like to believe,
values.
We
service
do like
workers.
the ability. We value people for the most part, right? We understand the value of work. We understand the value of someone's time. That being said, we are still a capitalistic society, which means that somebody's losing money so someone else can make way more money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how that works.
Which I think that's just the frustration. And
my second point, and goes back to the actual delivery thing and skip the dishes, for example, is that Skip or Uber or whoever else you order from, they have a huge overhead on there's like that service charge on top.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think the delivery driver really sees much of that.
No, I don't think they do at all.
Per order or whatever. And I know that I think it's like Uber Eats, it's like 10%
of whatever you order. Yeah, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, which is insane. It's not even a flat rate anymore. It's 10% of your order, which is like, bitch, some of that money better be going, like at least 2 or 3 or 4% of that better be going
to the driver, like the person who actually does the work.
Exactly. But
Yeah?
that didn't used to be a problem because restaurants used to have their own delivery drivers.
Yeah.
Which
Yes.
meant that they controlled the flow of income and controlled the flow of payment to the worker. And of course, they could still screw over their delivery driver.
If they wanted to,
but
but
at least it's not like systematic across all
across
these
all of these
providers
providers and things like
going
that.
through
Yeah.
delivery systems and all this
Yeah.
stuff. So it's even worse. And like I said, I'm asking if I'm the asshole because I don't necessarily feel good about it, but I do wish that the quality of some of the service I was getting is better, because that's when I'm happier to tip, because that's the point of the tip.
Right, the tip, you want the tip
Yes.
to be a tip, to be a reward. It's a you want it to be a thank
And
you
I'm-
Going
for
and I'm
good
above and
service.
absolutely happy.
beyond.
Yeah.
For going above
Yeah.
and beyond the
And-
standard expectations.
And I will happily remind people that I was raised in the food service industry. I am very well aware
Of the fact
of
what
what
tips mean.
a tip represents.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All I'm saying,
So I have a question for you,
tips
Jay.
happen after service. It's a bribe.
Usually. So question for you, Jay. How does it make you feel when someone drops off their food and the first thing they say to you is, please leave me a 5-star review?
Oh,
I've
I've
never
never
had
had that.
I've never experienced that. I would be
And
really
I mean, Skip the
frustrated.
Dishes only has thumbs up or thumbs down.
Interesting.
And I also, like, yeah, I don't really, I don't get that request often at all. Or I say often at all. I've never gotten that request, so I don't know. If even in a hypothetical, I don't really know what I would do immediately, because I would probably honestly just weigh it against my expectations, which are fairly low expectations. Like in an Uber ride, would it be like, did you get me here? Did I die? No. Like, like I don't
Exactly.
care if you have. I kind of don't really care if you have like hand sanitizer, a phone charger, TV screen. Like, I'm just looking. The primary purpose
Did you get me?
was to get me from here to here, or get me a service or product or whatever it was. Did you do it in a timely, professional manner?
Yes or no?
If it's yes, I would probably just give you the 5, because like that's my standards. That's why I have. But again, that's the problem I have with the expectation for tipping, which is if you're only doing the baseline, I don't feel obliged to pay you more. But if you were the Uber driver with a better car, with the better stuff, then I would tip you more because you have provided more.
Yeah.
Like that's all that really matters to me.
Yeah, I think it's the frustration. I think your frustration just boils down to the fact that you're not. The expectation isn't on you to give the tip as a reward for good service. The expectation is set by society and by corporations for you to give a tip as
Yes.
a decent human being.
Right.
Yep,
And,
basically.
And again, it absolutely comes down to companies play your fucking employees.
Yes.
Yep.
It's not that I
Pay
and
people.
If that means I have to pay, if that means I have to pay another 50 cents or $1 on a fucking hamburger,
I'm not upset
so
about
be it.
that. I'm upset when you make me pay the extra 50 cents on the hamburger and then you lay off half your employees.
Yes.
Uh,
I'm pretty sure we can end on that note.
Yeah.
But I'm actually happy that we
Mic
got to
drop.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Thank you very much for joining us, Dio.
Yeah, thanks
You're
for
always great to
having
have around.
me.
I was actually going to say, I think we're going to be doing the fall preview episode pretty soon here.
Woo!
So we'd love to have you on.
Yes, we love
Um,
Weeaboo cartoons.
Yes, and we have some new things that we're incorporating into the podcast. Secret.
It is less than
Listeners.
20 days to fall.
But it'll be good.
Yep,
There's less than 20 days of summer left.
we're almost out of this
There hasn't.
hellscape
No,
era.
seasons don't exist. It's just been Corona.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the entire season.
Yeah.
Pandemic season.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
it's been all right. But anyways, I'll see a few of you pretty soon in real life.
Yeah.
I'll also hope to. I hope to see everybody because I'll be going to the Cardboard Gundam build along, and that'll be fun. Just to hang around and chill.
Go Entomb
Please do
J
come.
into cardboard.
Yes.
Or should we say upgrade J with cardboard?
Yes.
Maybe both at the
Thank
same
you so
time.
much for listening. Yes. We'll see you around soon. Enjoy the rest of your summer if you can, and thank you for listening as always.
This is Angelo
Take
signing
care.
out.
See you later. I'm Dio.
Good night, everybody.